Welcome back to Laughing in the Dark, the podcast where I go to haunted places with comedians. I'm your host, Sara Jones. I haven't seen you guys in a long time. I hope you had a good year. Happy Halloween. This is going to be my super secret, horrible Halloween special. I'm with my friend and comic, Kyle Ploof.
Hello.
Hello, Kyle.
Hello.
Kyle is the host of a podcast called Death in Entertainment. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what that's all about?
Yeah, Death in Entertainment is one of the only true crime comedy podcasts out there. I think there's legitimately only like one that's like a legitimately true crime comedy podcast as well. So we're in, not a lot of competition. But what we do is pretty much talk about Hollywood's true crimes, on-set deaths, and just things that have happened in Tinseltown that are very shady.
Oh, terrifying Tinseltown. I like it.
Yes.
Spooky. All right, so Kyle and I put together some stories of things that happened on Halloween that are horrible. So get comfortable.
There we go.
Let's go. All right, so one of the things I wrote about are Halloween decorations that were not actually decorations.
Oh, boy.
These are pretty fun. So let's get into it. Late October of 2005 in Delaware, the body of a 42-year-old woman who had apparently committed suicide by hanging in a tree was ignored for hours when neighbors assumed her corpse to be an innocent Halloween decoration. This happens all the time.
Wait, her corpse?
Her corpse was hanging from a tree. But it looked like the mayor's wife told a local paper it looked like something somebody would have rigged up, which I can see. This I looked into this. This happens all the time.
What?
By the way, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of the decorations you've seen this month.
Yeah.
You might want to do more investigating. A few years later, in 2009, around Halloween. Let me do that again. A few years later, in 2009, around Halloween, in Marina del Rey, the decomposing corpse of a 75-year-old man was dismissed as a decoration for several days by neighbors. The man had apparently been deceased since Monday of that week. His body slumped over. Did you just
That was
put
my
in a
fault.
sound effect?
That was my fault.
What was that?
I thought I was bringing up an article about something that's related to
It
this.
sounded like a yelping chihuahua. Anyway, the body of a slumped-over man in a chair on the third-floor balcony of his apartment wasn't found until that Thursday, when authorities were called and his decomposing body was found with a gunshot wound through an eye.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, authorities believed his death to have been a suicide.
Oof.
In October of 2015, a particularly gruesome scene in one small town of Ohio was also mistaken for a Halloween prank. There's a theme here. The lifeless body of 31-year-old Rebecca Cade was found dangling from a chain-link fence. Her sleeve had become caught on the top.
Oof.
While neighbors believed the display to be nothing more than decoration, construction workers called in to 911 after realizing the body was in fact real. Rebecca had been murdered by 27-year-old Donnie Kochner Jr. after an argument the night before. She died of blunt force trauma to the head and neck, and there is evidence that she had fought her attacker before her death. The murder weapon was found near the scene, a bloody rock nearly the size of a grapefruit.
Oof. So did we know that the dude who killed her, did he like rig her up like that to make her look like a decoration? Or
I think she was like running away and her sleeve got caught, and so she was all dangling and hanging. And
my God. I mean, if you're going to do it, this is the time to do it, to try to get away with it.
No one knows. Yeah. No one's going to know for a few days. But it's not always decorations that can be deceiving on Halloween. Sometimes costumes can be too. In October of 2012, an 8-year-old girl in Pennsylvania dressed in a black costume, a black hat, and a white feather in her cap before attending a Halloween family bonfire around 10 p.m. I think I wrote that sentence weird. But that's what that chick was wearing. She's an 8-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Went to a family bonfire. While the girl was playing on a hillside, the homeowner, Janet Grant, thought the child was a skunk and went inside to get a shotgun.
What? As you do.
As you do. She handed the shotgun to her son, 25-year-old Thomas Grant, the victim's cousin, and instructed him to, quote, shoot the pest.
Shoot the pest.
Thomas dutifully held the shotgun while his mother shined a flashlight in the direction of the child, who again they believed to be a skunk, and Thomas fired the gun, striking the little girl in her shoulder and abdomen. The girl was briefly treated in the garage before being flown by helicopter 30 miles to Pittsburgh's Children's Hospital, where she remained in critical condition for several days. She later underwent surgery for injuries to her spine and internal organs and was regularly tested for lead poisoning. So from what I can tell, the girl survived, and her cousin Thomas was banned from hunting for 24 months.
24 months, that's it?
As a result, completely devastated by the incident, he maintained that it was an accident and thus avoided jail time.
What?
Yeah. Well, sometimes you never know if it's a skunk or an 8-year-old girl. You got to get real. That's
a big ass skunk. That is. I'd probably want to shoot it too. If I genuinely thought that was a skunk, you gotta get it.
You gotta get that guy. Yeah. No, but I think what it was that it was like the white plume in her hat, I guess, looked like a skunk's tail, and maybe they just didn't see the whole rest of her body.
Still,
I don't get it either.
God.
I was really confused.
There were like 8 raccoons outside my apartment a few days ago.
Did you get your shotgun?
All I have is a BB gun.
You're like, I'm not sure if those are 8-year-old kids or what.
Yeah, for real.
But I'm shooting them.
A whole gang of them. Got to take them out.
Whole gaggle. That's fun.
Wow. And that chick actually survived.
From what I can tell.
As far as we could tell.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's so crazy because there's actually one episode that we're going to do that we haven't covered yet on Death and Entertainment. But there was this guy, he actually died in October, not Halloween. But for years, he was, his body somehow made it into a museum, and they like painted him up with wax. So people thought he was like a wax doll. He was in a bunch of movies and stuff until they realized it was a dead body like 30 years later.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
What?
This guy's name is Elmer McCurdy, and he died.
What do you mean he was in a bunch of movies? Like he was a prop?
Yeah, he was a prop in like this museum. And they filmed a bunch of different movies in this museum, and
this is
nobody knew.
This is here?
Yeah. Nobody knew until years later that it was a real person, just covered in wax.
He's in a museum, one of several other decorations that are not real people, but he just happens to be the one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to go there. Is it the Death Museum? The Museum of Death. Have you been there?
Louis Sonny, this person used McCurdy's corpse in his traveling museum of crime, which featured wax replicas of famous outlaws such as Bill Doolin and Jesse James. In 1928, the corpse was a part of the official sideshow that accompanied the Trans-American Foot Race. He was exhibited there. His corpse sustained some damage in a windstorm.
Sure.
And then by 1976, McCurdy's corpse was hanging in the Laugh in the Dark Funhouse. Wow, look at that. Laugh in the Dark Funhouse exhibition at the Pike.
Full circle.
Yeah.
At the Pike. That's the bar across the street from where I live.
That's crazy.
That's weird. Oh, this always happens with you.
Yeah, the production crew of the television show The $6 Million Man was filming scenes for the Carnival of Spies episode in Long Beach, California at the Pike.
That's where I live. That's exactly where I live. The Pike in Long Beach, California is where my apartment is.
Crazy. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out. Yeah,
wow.
wait, hang on. So how did that come up? But his body after getting wind damage was brought to the bar across the street from my apartment?
Yes.
And was featured on a show called Laugh in the Dark?
It was featured in the Laugh in the Dark Funhouse exhibition at the Pike. So they had some weird thing that oddly is a alternate
in the world
universe.
Okay, what do I say all the time? Reality is a sham.
It is.
It's not real. I don't fucking believe.
Yeah.
This is a long fever dream that I've probably been dead forever.
Yeah, this is a story I've wanted to cover for a while.
That's crazy.
And yeah, this dude was dead for a long time.
That sucks.
He made a brief appearance in a 1967 movie called She Freak. And then he was sold for $10,000 to Spoonie Singh, the owner of the Hollywood Wax Museum.
I have to wonder if his life while alive was more eventful than post-mortem, because he seems to have a really eventful post-mortem experience.
Yeah, he lived crazier life and death.
Yeah.
He was eventually returned because, so the people who got this for their exhibit or whatever, said they wanted to return the corpse because they decided it looked, quote, too gruesome and not lifelike enough to exhibit.
Well, of course not. It's dead.
Well, yeah, it's the only one that was actually alive.
It's the only one that's been alive at any one point, but it just looked too real.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Police were called after the $6 million man. People figured out that he was a live person, and they did an autopsy and determined the body was that of a human male who had died of a gunshot wound to the chest.
Whoa.
The body was completely petrified because it was covered in wax and had been covered with layers of phosphorus paint. So I guess that will keep you for a long time, because he died in 1911, and they didn't realize he was an actual person until 1976.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
How old was he when he died? Did they say how old the body was?
He was born January 1st, 1880, and died 1911. So that's only 31 years.
31. So okay. He died when he's 31. Then his corpse was used in movies and all kinds of shit for 60 years.
Yeah.
For twice the amount of time that he's spent living on the planet.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
what
insane.
A fascinating story. Good for him.
Man.
That's crazy.
Talk about
Where
Halloween
is the
decorations.
corpse now?
Good question. I don't know.
Museum of Death?
Let me find it.
That wouldn't shock me for a second, but I feel like that's something I would have remembered from going there.
April 22nd, 1977, a funeral procession was conducted to transport McCurdy to the Summit View Cemetery in Guthrie, Oklahoma, where he's from.
Oh.
A graveside service attended by approximately 300 people was conducted, after which McCurdy was buried next to the outlaw Bill Dowling.
Is that Billy the Kid?
I don't know.
Outlaw Bill.
Bill Dowling. He was American bandit, outlaw, and founder of the Wild Bunch. Yeah.
300 people attended that guy's funeral when he'd been dead for over 60 years.
Yeah.
So they didn't know him in life.
Not at all.
They're just fans of what she-devil or whatever the fuck that movie was.
She-freak.
She-freak. They're just major she-freak fans.
Yeah,
Wow.
freak heads. They ensured that McCurdy's body would not be stolen by pouring 2 feet of concrete over his casket.
So stolen. So there's fans of this guy.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of him now.
I am too.
I mean, that's cool.
Good old Elmer McCurdy.
Yeah. Elmer.
Yeah.
God, love Elm Street.
Hey.
Now we're just trying. Now we're just reaching. Now it's just a reach. All right. Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, crazy.
That wasn't your actual Halloween story.
It was not. The first one, which one should we do? I guess we'll do the crazy guy first.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the story about Dawson McGeehee. He wore a Halloween mask when he stabbed his mother to death in her bedroom on Halloween 2011.
Oh, I think that happens a lot.
It happens way more than I thought it would.
I know. Ever since we had this idea to write about just a horrible murder on Halloween,
Yeah.
I can't believe the
Yeah, I'm like,
sea
which one do
of
we pick?
options. Oh my God,
And-
so crazy.
You would think it's like always people just going to a Halloween party and like murdering people, which we saw one of those. The guy who dressed up as Freddy Krueger and brought out a shotgun, which is not how Freddy would
Not
ever
Freddy
kill
Krueger
anyone.
at all.
Yeah,
Not at all.
wasn't very realistic.
No, not very real. He should have gotten in their dream, is what
Yeah,
he should have done.
For real. Yeah, he ended up getting arrested, and then we don't know whatever happened to that story. So I guess
Okay.
that's just the
Boring.
long and short of it.
Yeah.
But this dude, Dawson Andrew McGeehee, always told people that he had a demon in his head.
Okay, we're off to a good start.
He told friends and therapists that in the months prior to being accused of murdering his mother, Kathleen McGeehee, according to case files published on Fine Law. McGeehee also seemed to be obsessed with Halloween and horror. In the year before he killed his mother, his brother Colin said that the 26-year-old had taken to occasionally walking around the family home in the dark, wearing a Halloween mask and coveralls when he was there to visit.
In like overalls? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. That's almost the most scary part. So, like overalls, maybe one like undone.
Yeah.
Halloween mask, just pacing.
Right.
Fuck that.
In the dark.
Nope.
Just regularly. That's
Nope.
what this
just
guy
what he
does. Yeah.
That's
and
our guy,
nobody thought to lock this dude up.
Nope. He only had demons in his head.
Yeah. Oof. Another time, Colin testified that he and his brother went to see a horror movie together. During the movie, McGeehee got up and was gone for a long time, so his brother went around looking for him. When he spotted his brother, he was sitting alone, quote, in a different row and off to the side, again wearing his mask.
Stop. No, in the movie theater.
In the theater. Yeah.
Okay. Sitting alone. So he removes himself from his seat with his brother.
Yeah.
Goes to the corner.
He's like, I can't be with this loser.
Puts on
not
his
wearing a mask.
He's like jerking off. What was it?
Could have been. I don't know.
They didn't say that.
No, it didn't say.
That just seemed like it would just fit.
Yeah. On Halloween in 2011, he, quote, dressed in a Halloween costume, complete with a mask, of course, and murdered his mother in the family's Northeast Manteca home. Manteca, I guess, is the town that they were in.
Okay.
A reliable source indicated the police found a mask smeared with blood, and the blood belonged to his mother. In the aftermath, McGeehee went to great lengths to hide his mother's death from his sister Caitlin, who still lived there at the home.
Oh, no. Wax?
Yeah. He dunked her in phosphorus paint.
Sure.
And
as you do.
Put her in the
And
cast of
60
$6
years
Million
later.
Man. He made excuses for why his mother wasn't coming out of her room and being extra friendly and chatty, which was uncharacteristic for him.
Obviously.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
A guy that just lurks in the dark with a Halloween mask on at all
He's
times.
antisocial.
Yeah, at the least. By the end of the day, when their mom had been locked in her bedroom all day and wouldn't respond, Caitlin called 911 for a wellness check. First responders kicked in the bedroom door to find Kathleen, dead.
Whoa.
Yeah. According to the case, McGeehee stabbed his mother 10 times in the neck, chest, and abdomen with a kitchen knife. 8 of the stab wounds on their own were independently fatal.
Right.
Oof.
Yeah.
And there was also evidence of strangulation.
What?
So
which came first?
Yeah, exactly. The
Probably
knife,
strangulation.
Knife or the strangulation.
Probably strangled her and then stabbed her in the neck and then went for the abdomen, which makes the most sense.
Yeah, because it'd be tough to strangle with
stab
the blood
someone in the
coming up.
neck.
Yeah, that's rough.
I mean, maybe slitting a throat, but just a stab right through the neck, that's a weird move.
It's tough.
It's tough to do.
Yeah.
It seems like it wouldn't be easy.
You got to be a complete psycho.
Yeah, he's just
Maybe
wearing
let
his
people know
mask.
it's coming for years by wearing a mask in the dark and
It's crazy.
at
He
movie
was
theaters.
actually wearing his mask when he murdered her too, because they found the blood in the mask too. So
exactly. I mean, that's just
creep show.
That's automatic guilt right there.
Oh yeah.
No one else is wearing that mask.
No, you're odd. You, sir, you're odd.
You're weird,
First of all.
Yeah.
Biggest red flag ever. You're odd.
Yeah. Due to the evidence, which included Kathleen's blood on the mask and jacket belonging to McGeehee, him being the only one home at the time, and his strange behavior before and after the murder, along with no signs of a break-in and nothing stolen, investigators zeroed in on this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great detective work.
Yeah. They're like, well, this guy's odd.
You gotta see this, though. Like, everything that I've seen and, like, read about this guy made me think, like, oh, he's probably a schizophrenic. Like, if he's telling people he's got voices in his head and stuff,
There's
like,
a demon in there.
yeah, why are they not bringing him to the hospital? Why are they not making sure he's getting, like, very serious treatment?
Well, what year is this?
2011.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it's pretty recent.
Yeah.
10 years.
Oh, my God. I can't believe I haven't heard about this.
Yeah. And this fucking clip, dude, they literally, I'll let it speak for itself.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you? Okay. So I'm Detective Miller. This is Detective Barbacino. We've got something we want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about what happened to your mom.
What happened to my mom?
You tell
He's
me.
being very weird.
Yeah.
Like, making
He
it
looks
seem
like
like he's very, like, mentally ill.
Mom,
He looks like he's tripping balls.
very bad.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to my mom?
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
Are you insinuating this is an act? Like this is not how he really is? Or you think...
This is what I expected when I first started watching, but
Okay.
you'll see by the end of the
But,
clip.
well, was your sister home this weekend?
I'm supposed to have an attorney?
If you want one.
That stood out to me.
I should request an attorney.
Well, that's up to
He's
you.
like
If you
muttering and
like
making
one.
hand motions.
Yeah, his hand is
Would you like to talk to you?
it's almost like he's mentally handicapped. He's like putting on this act. And he's so out of it. And as soon as they say, like, your mother's been murdered, he's like, aren't I supposed to have an
You wanna ask for an
attorney?
Yeah.
It's like, that's a very lucid thought.
Okay, yeah, good point.
All right. Well, you know what? Then I can't bring an attorney right here, right now. So what's going to happen is in a little while you're going to get booked out at the county jail, and you go into court, and then they'll appoint an attorney for you. So I'm going to have you sit right here for a few minutes until we can get you processed. Okay?
What did they say happened to my mom?
Okay. Then at this point, I'm done talking to you. I can't talk to you
This
anymore
cop's like,
about
this
the
is
case
bullshit.
Yeah.
because you told me that you wanted an attorney here.
Oh, okay.
All right. If you change your mind about that and you decide you want to talk to me, you need to let me know or let one of the officers here know. Okay.
When can we talk? When can we talk with an attorney?
Okay.
I'm gonna be right back.
So now he's leaving the room. He's saying, you know what, you want an attorney. We're going to get you booked. We'll see you later.
Okay, and for listeners, he is making weird facial expressions and hand
Not
motions.
anymore.
Once the
As
cop
soon as
leaves,
the cop leaves.
he's acting normal.
And then he hears the door open and he's doing the hand thing
Shut
again.
the fuck
Yes.
up. What a weirdo.
So he clearly knew what the fuck he was doing. Clearly.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Very creepy.
That's creepy. I mean, it's not that you can tell I don't want to say it's intelligent, but like
But it is.
There's the move of like, okay, I'm gonna try to get in like not guilty because of insanity or whatever it's called.
That's exactly what they did. The defense argued that he suffered from mental illness, and the court found him competent to stand trial because they saw this footage. Like,
Right.
you could clearly see that he's deceiving
Full
them.
of shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
He was sentenced to 15 years to life in 2013, is weirdly eligible for parole in 2024.
Yikes.
but-
what a sociopath. That's
Yeah.
the thing, is that it's bad enough that he killed his mother wearing a mask and is in general just an odd person. But the thing that's so disturbing to me about it is that he has no remorse at all.
No.
There's no like, oh my God, what did I do? How am I
to my
here?
mother?
Yeah, he's just,
happened?
that's very Buffalo Bill odd weirdness. Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, that guy's a creep.
Yeah, very
Big
much
time.
so. All right. I guess I should get into my next one.
Let's do it.
So this one is a little bit longer. This is like I did a full-on story.
Nice.
Okay, so it seems like every year around Halloween, people talk about the looming threat of compromised candy for unsuspecting trick-or-treaters. I remember growing up in school, they'd always give out flyers for parents to remind them to inspect their kids' candy after going out. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I ever remember my mom actually inspecting my candy, to be honest. But I also don't ever remember scoring any blow in my trick-or-treat bag or finding razor blades in my fun-size Snickers.
It's bullshit.
Do you? You're like, well, in Boston.
Yeah.
I mean,
they
yeah.
gave us the razor blades to cut up the Coke we got with it.
This is full service. What started as a scary possibility that admittedly did cross my mind occasionally as a kid, I learned a distrust of others young, has now become somewhat of a comical trope every year. Once people realize that nobody's wasting their good, expensive drugs on a handful of second graders, I guess it became more of a joke than anything. As it turns out, there are no documented incidences of strangers poisoning Halloween candy. Let me say that again. There are no documented incidences of strangers poisoning Halloween candy.
Oh, so you're saying that there's family poisoning?
Story time.
Okay.
On Halloween of 1974 in Pasadena, Texas, a true monster named Ronald Clark O'Brien took two of his children trick-or-treating with his neighbor and his kids. When they came to a door and nobody answered, the children became impatient and ran to the next door, naturally. O'Brien stayed behind, but later caught up with his group, showing them 5 21-inch pixie sticks that he claimed to have received from the house that they had just left. Remember those big, that's like 3 feet long, those like big plastic tube pixie sticks? Remember those? I don't know if they might still make them.
I think they might.
Yeah. All right.
I used to snort Pixie Sticks back in Boston too,
No,
by
you
the way.
didn't.
Yeah.
Get
yeah.
outta here.
I mean, I did it once in front of people at school and they were like, "You're crazy, dude."
And you're just like, yeah, that's right. I'm nuts.
Yeah. Then the girl I liked was like, "You're cool." I was like, "Oh God."
She's like, he's odd.
Yeah.
That's odd behavior.
He's gonna wear a mask at the movies later in life.
I have a feeling about this one. Okay, so by the end of the night, O'Brien gave both of his neighbors' kids one of the Pixie Sticks and one each to his own 2 children. So that's 4. And his kids are named Timothy and Elizabeth. When he came home, O'Brien gave the 5th Pixie Stick to a 10-year-old boy who attended his church. So you see, O'Brien was a deacon at the Second Baptist Church.
Wow.
He was an active member of his church and could often be found singing with the choir. He was even in charge of the local bus program. I'm not a huge fan of organized religion.
Yeah.
And then I just feel like I keep getting these stories where I'm like, when they came home that night, Timothy had asked to eat some candy before bed, like any kid on Halloween night. According to Ronald, he had requested the Pixie Stick. Timothy had difficulty getting the powder from the straw, so his father helped him to loosen it. After Timothy tried the candy, he complained of a bitter taste. Oof. So O'Brien gave his son Kool-Aid to help wash it down. Shortly thereafter, Timothy complained of a stomach ache before running to the bathroom where he vomited and began violently convulsing. Timothy O'Brien died on the way to the hospital less than an hour after consuming the candy. Naturally, this horrible death shocked everyone in the community of Deer Park, Texas. Parents came in droves to the police station to have their children's Halloween candy inspected for poison. An autopsy of young Timothy O'Brien revealed a toxic dose of potassium cyanide had been consumed along with the Pixie Stick immediately prior to his death. 4 of the 5 Pixie Sticks that O'Brien claimed to have received when he'd strayed temporarily from his group were recovered by authorities, none of which had been consumed by the other children, thankfully. The police contacted the parents of the 5th child, the one who attended his church, who had received the poisoned Pixie Stick, and those parents became hysterical, understandably, when they couldn't find the candy.
Oh.
Finally, they found their son asleep, clutching the Pixie Stick, unopened.
Oh my God.
The boy later claimed he had been unable to open the wrapper that had been stapled shut.
Wow.
All 5 of the Pixie Sticks had been previously opened, and the top 2 inches of the straws were refilled with cyanide powder before being stapled shut.
Jesus.
2 inches worth.
Yeah, that's quite a lot.
According to the pathologist who performed Timothy's autopsy, he had consumed enough cyanide to kill 2 adults. The other 4 Pixie Sticks contained enough cyanide, it turns out, to kill 3 to 4 adults.
Jesus.
O'Brien claimed that he could not remember which house he had received the compromised candy from, but police became suspicious when his neighbor mentioned that they had only been to homes on 2 streets because it had been raining that night. None of the homes police visited on those 2 streets had distributed Pixie Sticks on Halloween. Finally, O'Brien went with his original story and led police to the home where nobody had answered the door. This, he insisted, was where he received the Pixie Sticks. He claimed that nobody in the house turned their lights on, but a man reached out and handed him the 5 tubes. The only description he offered was that the arm was hairy. Sure. The owner of the home was a man named Courtney Melvin, who was an air traffic controller at William P. Hobby Airport. He hadn't gotten home from work until 11 p.m. on Halloween night, and Melvin was finally ruled out as a suspect after nearly 200 people corroborated his alibi.
200?
Nearly 200 people.
Just because he was at the airport?
He had been at work that night.
Yeah.
Police later discovered that O'Brien was over $100,000 in debt, which, remember, this is 1974.
How is a deacon $100,000 in debt? What the hell is he doing? Gambling?
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Prostituting?
Which today is the equivalent of nearly $560,000.
Wow.
O'Brien had taken out life insurance claims on both of his children months before Timothy's death.
That to me shouldn't even be legal. Like, why are you taking out insurance policies on your kids? Like, they're not bringing in any money. You're not expecting money from them anyway.
They're not paying taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Why don't you give those kids a job?
Yeah.
Then let's talk about it. No, yeah. It's fishy.
It's very fishy.
It's very weird.
There should never be an insurance policy that you're able to take out on your own kids.
They're not contributing
that
to
are
society.
children.
I'm sorry, they're not doing anything for
Right.
us. Let's see. O'Brien had taken out life insurance on both of his children months before Timothy's death, and then 1 month before he died, O'Brien took out an additional $20,000 policy on both of his children, despite objections from the life insurance agency. But he wasn't done yet. Mere days before Timothy's last, he took out yet another $20,000 policy on each child. The morning after Timothy died, O'Brien reportedly made a phone call to his insurance agency to inquire about collecting on said policies.
Oof.
It would soon be discovered that Ronald O'Brien had visited a chemical supply store shortly before Halloween of 1974, but left without making a purchase after he discovered that the smallest amount of cyanide he could purchase at one time was a mere 5 pounds.
The 5 pounds?
That's it.
That's it?
He was like, this is bullshit. I'm getting
Kill
out
a
of here.
village. I need more.
I know. He was eventually indicted on 1 count of capital murder and 4 counts of attempted murder. He pled not guilty on all 5 counts.
Yeah, good luck with that.
During the trial, a chemist who knew O'Brien testified that in the summer of 1973, O'Brien approached him and actually asked what dose of cyanide would be fatal. This is before, Google. People who knew him mentioned that in the months preceding Timothy's death, O'Brien showed an unusual interest in cyanide, even often discussing how much it would take to kill a person, proving that beyond being a heartless, soulless piece of shit, he was also fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Family members that were present at the funeral of his 8-year-old son mentioned how during the funeral, O'Brien was discussing using his son's life insurance policy to take a long vacation and to buy himself various items. His wife later rejected the claim that Timothy had requested the pixie stick as his final treat on that fateful Halloween night.
Pixie sticks are like the worst. I'd rather like Whoppers, and those suck too.
She stated unequivocally that O'Brien had in fact forced his son to choose the poisoned pixie stick.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah. Ronald O'Brien, nicknamed the Candy Man and the man who killed Halloween, was convicted of capital murder in June of 1975. He was sentenced to death and executed by lethal injection in March of 1984. In his final statement, O'Brien, maintaining his innocence to the bitter end, stated, "I forgive all, and I do mean all, those who have been involved in my death. God bless you all, and may God's best blessings be always yours." A crowd of 300-some people had gathered around the prison and cheered during his execution, throwing fistfuls of candy and yelling, "Trick or treat."
Wow. That's intense.
I
didn't know that part. Oh my God.
That ending, the trick or treat thing is like,
That's a great ending.
it's good. It's good. But just like his whole like, "Oh, I forgive you." Fuck you.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
I feel like you should be executed the way that you killed somebody else.
Yeah, they should have
I should
given
have
him
shoved
a
a pixie stick up his ass.
full of cyanide.
Yeah, 3-foot tube of pixie stick filled with cyanide.
In fact, it took them like almost 10 years to execute him because his attorney kept arguing that, so he was going to be the first person killed by lethal injection in Texas. And then his attorney was arguing that was cruel and unusual punishment.
Oh my God.
I know. If he fucking
Like,
poisoned
good.
his 8-year-old kid.
Yeah. No shit.
But, he forgives us.
Right. Rest in peace.
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat, bitch.
Bitch. Trick or treat, motherfucker.
As Busta Rhymes eloquently said in Halloween H2O, right before he killed Michael Myers. Trick or treat, motherfucker.
Beautiful.
Yeah. The other story I have is crazy. It's about Shirley Lynette Ledford, who was 16 years old at the time of her death on October 31st, 1979. She was abducted as she stood outside a gas station, hitchhiking home from a Halloween party in Sunland, Tujunga, the suburb of Los Angeles, right down the street.
Yeah.
Investigators believe that Ledford accepted a ride home from these two guys, Lawrence Bittaker and Roy Lewis Norris. They were known as the Toolbox Killers.
Oh yeah,
You've
I know
heard of these
about
guys?
These. Yep.
I didn't know about these dudes. They were 2 American serial killers and rapists who kidnapped, raped, tortured, and killed 5 teenage girls in Southern California over a period of 5 months in 1979. Described by FBI Special Agent John E. Douglas as the most disturbing individuals for whom he's ever created a criminal profile.
Oof.
That's crazy, and he saw a lot. So yeah, this girl just hitchhiking home after a Halloween party, which
First mistake.
horrible mistake. Like, what do you do? But I guess it was so normal back in the 70s.
yeah.
It's just, that seems like such an insane thing to me.
Yeah.
But I guess all our parents did it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So she accepted a ride home from Bittaker and Norris because she recognized Bittaker, as he was known to have frequented the restaurant, which she was a part-time waitress.
Second red flag.
So that's crazy. Like, it's just so weird to think about. Like, could you have already met someone who's going to kill you?
Usually you have.
Yeah.
It's very rare that you get murdered by someone who just is a random person that doesn't know you. That rarely happens.
Those are the people who get away with it. Like, people who just kill at random.
But
because there's no
usually-
trail leading back to that person. Like, who the
Yeah.
fuck would do this? I don't know. Some guy just broke in and killed this person.
Well, maybe you're right. Maybe there's something to that. Maybe it's like the solved crimes tend to be ones that you could find a connection. So
Yeah.
who knows if it's more common.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've heard that you're more likely to be killed by like a family member than by a random person. On the
For
street.
sure. But it's like these peripheral people. Like, he was just going to her work.
He was a regular.
Yeah.
Those people, I mean, this is what, the 70s though? Mm-hmm. But so he can't get the satisfaction of following her on like Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, he's
But this also seems like it just fell in his lap. Like, this
Totally.
person was just hitchhiking down the road, and it just happened to be this girl who was a waitress.
Oh,
at
do you need
place
a
that we know.
ride?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Upon accepting the offer of a lift home and entering the van, which this is all like such stereotypical shit.
It had free candy spray painted to the side.
A windowless van.
Yeah.
She's like, let me jump in there. She was offered marijuana by Norris, which she refused. Bittaker drove the van to a secluded street where Norris drew a knife, and then they tied her up, gagged her with construction tape. Bittaker then traded places with Norris, who drove in an aimless manner for in excess of over an hour, as they remained in the back of the van with this girl. Or Bittaker remained in the back with Ledford. After removing the tape from the girl's mouth and legs, Bittaker tormented Ledford. And the reason they were called the Toolbox Killers is because they tortured people with tools from a toolbox. Oof.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. He was initially slapping and mocking her, then beating her with his fists as he repeatedly shouted for her to say something. Then as Ledford began screaming, shouting for her to scream, he started shouting for her to scream louder.
Ooh.
So just like totally being a complete psycho. She started crying and pleading with them, repeatedly saying, "No, don't touch me." In response, Bittaker again ordered her to scream as loud as she wished. Like, that's terrifying.
Totally.
When I've seen it in movies and stuff, but just
No
the
one's gonna
idea,
hear you.
yeah, no one's gonna hear you. Let me scream with you.
Yeah.
Like, that's
God,
fucking crazy.
That's so scary. Yeah.
Yeah. So he began striking her with a hammer and punching her with his fists. He took out pliers and started torturing her with those between instances when he was raping her. Brutal.
Yikes.
Yeah. They made a recording.
No way.
Yeah. We're not going to listen to it. I
No.
obviously didn't look it up, but
Yeah.
she can be heard screaming for the abuse to end and obviously screaming, "Oh no." I don't know why the person wrote that.
Oh no.
Yeah, you would think.
Well, yeah.
She's not like,
That's
yes.
not funny. I don't know why we laughed at that. I'm glad I'm not the only one who did. It'd be really awkward. If I was like, ha, and you were just like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, nothing. Oh my God, that's awful. It is awful. Really
Right.
awful.
Of course. And then he was hitting her with a sledgehammer and taking out the pliers.
Jesus
and
Christ.
just-
Sledgehammer.
Yeah. And all you could hear was screams, constant screams, as that's what the driver was saying as he was driving around. Like, how could you drive down the street with this person? I don't know. Like, apparently he's a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
Then they switched and they started a new tape recording. So they had multiple takes. He was just mocking her again, saying, "Go ahead and scream or I'll make you scream." And she said, "I'll scream if you stop hitting me," which good tactic, I guess, if that's all you want. And after approximately 2 hours of captivity, Norris finally killed her, strangling her with a coat hanger.
Ooh.
Brutal. Norris said she didn't react much to the act of strangulation and died with her eyes open.
Oof.
Creepy to have like that level of detail that you remember. Which I feel like it would be such an insane thing. But I mean, apparently that's what people...
She didn't react much to the strangulation. Maybe she was like, okay, cool. Like she's been being beat by a fucking sledgehammer.
Yeah.
And tortured with pliers and raped. She's
Right.
probably like, sweet.
Yeah, finally.
Sweet release.
Seriously.
Yeah.
The pair drove to a randomly selected house in Sunland where Norris's body was discarded onto a front lawn.
Oof. Looked like a Halloween decoration.
Yeah, for real. Ledford's body was found by a jogger the next morning. An autopsy revealed that in addition to have been sexually violated, she had died of strangulation.
Of course.
And blunt force trauma to the face, head, breast, elbow, and olecranon. I don't even know what that is.
What? What is it spelled? How's it spelled?
Olecranon.
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 It's a link.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe that goes to the Google definition of what the hell that is.
Yeah, we'll go to the Wikipedia.
Whatever it is, it got beaten.
Fucked
to
up.
Shit. She's like, oh no, my olecranon.
The olecranon, from the Greek olein,
Sure.
meaning elbow, and cranon, meaning head, is a large, thick, curved, bony eminence of the ulna. Now I gotta click on the ulna.
Well, no, the ulna is the
behind
arm
the
bone,
elbow.
right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Tibula, fibula.
Oh, yeah, so it's her elbow. But why?
Why don't they just say elbow?
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
I think they're smarter than me.
Yeah, you think better than me? That's so excessive.
Yeah, so real crazy shit. And then they were talking about, they claimed that the tape recording the pair created of clear abuse and torture offered nothing other than the evidence of a threesome. That was their defense.
Are you kidding me?
Just scumbag shit.
Wow.
Scumbags.
And they got away with that? No.
No.
Of course not.
No.
Okay,
at the very end of the recording, Ledford was heard screaming for him and Norris to kill her. So she finally had enough and was like, just fucking finish.
Oh, God. Yeah, totally. So that's why she didn't react to the strangulation. That's what she wanted at that
Yeah,
point.
exactly. So Roy Norris, who was the guy who was originally driving, has this creepy ass quote, and he said, "We've all heard women scream in horror films. Still, we know that no one is really screaming. Why? Simply because an actress can't produce some of the sounds that convince us that something violent, heinous is actually happening. If you ever heard that tape, there is no possible way that you'd not begin crying and trembling. I doubt that you could listen to more than a full 60 seconds of it." And that's him describing his own tape.
Oh.
Just a total creep.
So it's like he's proud of what he's made.
Oh, they were absolutely proud of it. They both got convicted, and they both ended up dying in prison before they were executed.
Oh, those motherfuckers. Did they get their ass kicked? Is that why? Or did they kill themselves?
Norris accepted a plea bargain where he agreed to testify against Bittaker and was sentenced to life imprisonment on May 7th, 1980, with possibility of parole after serving 30 years. He died of natural causes at the California Medical Facility in February 2020. So he died right as the pandemic was starting.
Oh, God.
He didn't even get to it.
That.
Yeah, exactly.
This fucking guy.
Fucking guy got off.
Who's the other guy?
Lawrence Bittaker, who was the real, the worst of the worst.
Mastermind of it,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. He died of natural causes too.
God damn it.
In San Quentin,
Before 2020?
December 2019.
Oh, motherfucker.
These fucking guys had it too easy.
Nary a care of COVID-19.
Yeah, for real. And they would have got it too, because everybody in prison got it at one point.
Yeah, yeah. God damn it.
Yeah, those guys are fucking creeps.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And even just the way he says, I bet you couldn't sit through 60 seconds. It's like a challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
He was like, just try.
Couldn't even
pussy.
last a minute in our world.
All it sounds like is a threesome.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it.
What a crazy thing.
That's insane.
You're clearly hearing someone get crushed with a sledgehammer and ripped apart with pliers.
And
And
he's like, sounds like Sunday night to me. Am I
Yeah.
right, buddies?
God.
You guys know.
she's
Yikes.
screaming, "Finally kill me, please." And that's a threesome? I mean,
Yeah.
I've never heard that in bed.
I guess you're not having the right threesome.
I guess not. Need to get a van.
God, that's horrible. Oh,
Yeah.
yikes.
So that's the story of the Toolbox Killers. That was the last one they ever did, was on Halloween.
Yeah, I did. That was one of them that I saw when I was looking up. I was like, I might do that one.
Yeah.
Just the toolbox killers. The idea of like having torture devices in a toolbox of just like kind of just like a goodie box of like, what am I gonna fuck someone up with?
With just things that you could get at Home Depot any day.
Yikes.
Crazy.
Well, you can only get 5 pounds of cyanide at a time, so
Yeah.
it's not like they get everything just handed to them. God,
Oh, man.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. So we have a guest that's going to be coming in a little later. We're still waiting on him. He is actually also a co-host of yours, right? On
He
Death
sure
and
is.
Entertainment.
Yeah. Alejandro Dowling has a very intriguing... Dowling.
Oh, Dowling. Okay.
Yeah.
Alejandro Dowling.
Dowling. And he has a crazy story about a murder that took place on Halloween in his hometown of Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
Heard of it? Mm-hmm. I haven't.
No.
I'm from Michigan.
Yeah.
But still I haven't.
Apparently what I've heard from other people is that it's a shit town on the way to Chicago.
Oh,
from
Chi-town.
Wisconsin. Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay, Lake Michigan. Well, we'll talk about it when he gets here. That's exciting.
Perfect.
In the meantime, I was going to look more into, I think it's called McCaney Manor. Have you heard of this?
Mm-mm.
I texted you about it earlier today. So let me get the name right. I think it's called McCaney Manor. Yep, McCamey Manor. Okay, so this is a tourist attraction. It's in Lawrence County, Tennessee. But since I've looked into it, they've actually opened up several locations.
Oh, really?
I bet you when I start talking about it, you're going to be like, "Oh, I've heard of this guy." Did you watch Dark Tourist on Netflix
Yes.
a few years ago? It was featured on that show.
Oh, nice.
So this is a guy who basically tortures people, and he calls it the
I know exactly what you're talking
I saw
about.
the recognition on your
Yeah.
face. Okay, so I didn't really look into it before coming here because I didn't think we'd have time to go into another like full on story.
Yeah.
But this guy basically tortures people. They can have teeth extracted, nails removed. Like you have to sign a release that
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like literally. And the craziest thing to me, I think the scariest thing to me is that he doesn't accept money, like US dollars. He takes donations of dog food. To feed his dogs.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He just does it for the thrill of the game.
Yeah, I've definitely seen this dude
Full
before.
on psychopath.
I've seen interviews with him. He said that nobody has ever made it through the entire experience. Everyone's quit.
Because they're extracting teeth.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't
they're-
know that.
Yeah, they're doing like, it's not because, oh my God, what is this? See, they're probably taking her teeth out.
Oh my God.
See, we're looking at pictures of they have those like teeth separators that dentists give you. Look, she's got a sock in her mouth. They literally probably removed a tooth.
Yeah, that's
Like you can read on.
Yeah, people get buried alive. This guy has like duct tape all over his entire face except for his mouth, and then they stuffed a garbage bag in his mouth while he's completely
Jesus.
in mud, and the only thing that's coming out is the top of his face.
This guy is just such a complete fucking sociopath.
I think he might be a serial killer that's repressing a wannabe serial killer that's repressing his need to kill and is just torturing people for fun.
Well, and it's also like hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
Because it's like, look, they signed a release. They did. They
I'm
knew
legally
I was gonna.
protected.
Yeah, they knew that I was gonna remove fingernails, teeth. Look at this guy. They got these people in like shitty, bloody bathtubs and shit.
Stuffed in a freezer. Yeah, like a freezer locker.
There's nothing off limits. So this guy, from what I looked into, I think he's like ex-military.
Oh, really?
Yep. And but that's the thing. The thing that kills me is that he does it just for like the thrill of the game. Like it's not about money. That is what freaks me out the most.
Yeah.
I think this was the one. Oh yeah. Victim speaks out.
Oh, so he actually got sued?
I don't think I don't know if he got sued. I think someone like quote unquote survived it and then reached out and was like, this was fucked up.
nobody. He said nobody's made it through the entire thing, but like, when does the entire experience end? Like, is it supposed to be 24 hours, 8 hours? Like, because it goes through the night. And he said he's allowed to do, and I didn't know he was taking teeth and stuff. That to me is just
and fingernails.
Oh my!
Like actual like military grade torture, and obviously waterboarding is a little bit of what they're showing there.
But that's just not even fun.
It's not fun.
It would be fun, scary as fuck, but it could be fun to be in one of those experiences where, like, you know, it's super immersive and it's all a show. We're all pretending like I'm about to die here. Like that could be kind of fun, but actually being tortured.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to like make a dentist appointment after a fucking haunted house attraction.
Yeah, I hope you have insurance.
Yeesh. That's so crazy.
Oof. I want this guy. I mean, I bet it would have already come out if he had like weird charges against him in the past or something, but this is just a crazy thing to do to people.
I would, yeah, that's what scares me is that he doesn't even take money for it. And there's a huge waiting list. There's like thousands, I think tens of thousands of people on a waiting list to go. So that one they just talked about was in San Diego. The original one I think was in Tennessee. I believe there are like 3 or 4 different locations now.
Wow.
Because I mean, I didn't like intensively study it like I did this last story. But I've just looked into it over the years because it's ever since I saw it on Dark Tourist, I was like, what the fuck is this?
I have to see that episode because I didn't see that one. I've only ever seen this on like YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
Do they like extensively go into this guy's like background and stuff?
I don't know.
How he got into the business of trading dog food for terrifying experiences.
The thing is like he looks like that guy who is always like drinking on the end of the bar and will just talk to anyone.
Yes.
You know, like he looks like he's your friend's dad. That's what he looks like. You know what I mean? He just looks like just any random dude. He's always like giggling and having a good time, and it's like clearly something here is amiss.
Something's going on with this guy.
He's probably wearing a Halloween mask in the corner of a room somewhere with his overalls on, his coveralls.
Yeah. Getting ready to take your fucking nails off.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I paid good money.
So you gonna do it?
Hell no. Hell no. My friend Juliet does all the like crazy haunted house stuff. And I asked her about that once. I was like, hey, have you ever done McCamey Manor? And she was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And she's done like all kinds of crazy shit. But she's like, no, I'm not going to sign up to get tortured. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
That's too much.
Although, like, I do, when I go into haunted houses, I do sometimes forget to, like, also be in character as the person who's, like, the scared guest of a haunted house. Because I'm the person who, like, accidentally bumps into a ghoul, and I'm like, oh, shit, sorry. And they're like, that's all right. Like, oh, now it's ruined for both of us.
When I went to Universal, I went to The Walking Dead, like, experience the walkthrough, like, haunted house they have there.
That's this year?
They have it all the time.
Oh.
Yeah, it's there every day. And we went through for the first time, and I'm with my buddy, and he's like grabbing my arm, and I'm like, dude, get the fuck off my arm. And then when I looked, it was like this 13-year-old girl that was just latching onto me, and she's like, I'm so scared, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's cute.
And I was like, if it's you, it's okay, don't worry about it. I thought it was a grown man like holding my arm. I was like, get the fuck off me.
Hey. Instead, she's like, you're not my dad. Yeah. I thought you were going to say it's like a 13-year-old girl that like looked like a zombie or something. That would be scary.
Just a Boston heroin addict.
He's just like, I don't even know where we're at, man.
You got some pills, dude?
Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
I read
Alejandro's here, so I'm going to go grab him real quick.
Oh, yeah. Okay, great. So I understand that there was a murder on Halloween at your home, the house you grew up in.
Sort of.
Great.
It wasn't in my house. It wasn't actually near my house.
You're like, it didn't really happen.
Yeah.
But
it's fake.
Okay, listen, this is the story I made up.
It was in a different city.
Okay.
No. Here's what happened. So let me just open up my little document here.
I'm excited.
Oh, don't be.
Oh. I thought this was like the finale of this episode.
You thought the crypt keeper was
You're
going to
like,
walk in like, I have a little tidbit for you.
Yeah. You're like, it wasn't actually in my hometown. And like someone didn't actually die.
Well, you'll see what I'm talking about. Oh, no, you'll be satisfied. It's horrific.
Okay, good. Good. That's
Okay,
what I'm
so
looking for.
it's Halloween night in 1973.
Set in the scene.
We've really covered the 70s on Halloween.
The
Like there was a lot
70s
of fucked up shit
The
happening.
70s were the most fucked up decade for
I
Halloween.
think so.
Yeah.
And somehow disco was created
Also
in the
fucked
midst
up.
of that.
Horrific.
Just a really fucked up time.
Yeah. And the gas shortage. Let's not get into that.
When gas was $4 before, it was actually $4 all the time.
So it's 1973, and there's this girl named Lisa French, and
I
she's
thought you were going to say Lisa Frank.
no, it's Lisa
Of
French.
sticker fame.
No, and she's 9 years old, and she is going to go to this place called the Pumpkin Patch.
Heard of it?
I believe it was this. I'm setting this up so badly.
No, you're nailing it.
No,
I love it.
We're already there.
It's Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, by
Right.
the way.
Okay.
The city.
Okay, never heard of it.
Okay, that's where I grew up.
Okay, I'm from Michigan.
Oh, what part?
So, Metro Detroit.
Okay, yeah, that's. I have family all over Michigan, but not around Detroit.
Lake Michigan,
I'm
right?
like
Wisconsin,
UP,
you're close to Chi-Town.
Escanaba.
Oh, Yoopers.
Lansing, you
Yep,
know, and
Lansing.
then places you probably never heard of,
Michigan
like
State.
Pigeon.
I've never been
Yeah.
to Pigeon.
Pigeon?
Yeah.
Pigeon,
My
Wisconsin?
aunt lives there.
Oh, Pigeon, Michigan or Wisconsin?
No, Michigan. I'm naming Michigan now.
Yeah, there's also Hell, Michigan.
See, there I've never been.
Well, you can go to Hell.
They should have a hell in Wisconsin. Definitely.
It's
They
just a
probably
state.
do.
we definitely kick your ass and serial killers.
Yeah.
Kick everybody's ass in serial killers.
That's
Then
true.
again, they do call it the murder mitten. I don't know if it's serial killers. I feel like serial
Just
killers
murder
are
in
usually,
general.
Yeah, there's like gang murder in general, which I guess is technically not considered serial killing, even though it kind of should be. I feel
Right.
like serial
Oh,
killing.
it definitely
Totally.
should be.
I feel like the term serial killer is just reserved for like the real creepy white men.
Yes. Yes.
So anyway,
back
9-year-old
to
girl.
Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
Fond du Lac?
Fond du Lac.
Fondue.
Some people pronounce it Fond du Lac.
Fond du
But we
Lac.
say Fond du Lac.
Fond du Lac.
And then some people call it Fond du Sac
Okay.
for a goof.
What should what should I call it?
Fond du Lac is fine.
Fond du Lac. We'll do that.
By the way, it's spelled FOND space DU space LAC.
Write that down.
Write it down.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's for listeners. Okay, great. So 9-year-old girl, Fond du Lac. Fond du Sac.
Yeah.
Fondle
she-
sack.
Thank you for correcting. So Lisa French is her name. She's 9 years old, and she's gonna go with her best friend to the Pumpkin Patch, which is this Halloween themed event for kids. They set up in the neighborhood. You can imagine there's
Sure.
pumpkins, music, candy,
Sure.
and the problem is her friend gets sick, and so she's not going anymore. And her Lisa's
Faker.
yeah. But why wouldn't you want to go to the pumpkin patch? I mean, why would you fake not, being
Right.
sick to not go there? You'd rather stay home?
I guess you're right.
I don't
What are you
think
going to
so.
do?
I
in
believe
Fond du
her.
Lac, Wisconsin.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to know.
Yeah.
So I believe her friend was sick. I don't think
Okay.
she was
Okay.
she's
She's
playing
off the
hooky.
hook.
Yeah.
She's off the hook.
And the parents were elsewhere, I believe, at some probably a party. And so Lisa then decides, I'm going to go trick-or-treating by myself. And she dresses up as a
Genius.
hobo.
Perfect.
So she puts duct tape on her pants and, little paints freckles on her face. Because I guess homeless people
Are
have
Irish.
freckles.
Sun damage.
Yeah, sun damage, Irish, whatever. Or they play with paint and put fake freckles on their faces.
I don't
Phosphorus
think you can
paint.
dress as a hobo anymore. I don't
No,
think
I was going to bring
I don't
that
even
up,
think
actually.
you can say hobo, to be honest with you.
This poor little girl was being kind of offensive.
Yeah. So you're saying she got what's coming?
No.
You're like, you should have
No
seen how she
way.
was dressed.
It's in hobo face.
I would have loved to see what she dressed up later on in life as. Like, she probably would have had really
Good taste.
good costumes.
Al Jolson.
Yeah. Well, a hobo, at
Yeah.
9 years old, that's,
Pretty smart. She's got a little
Forward
sack
thinking.
on
Yeah,
like a
exactly. It's a
stick.
little satire,
Yeah.
And so she's trick-or-treating around the neighborhood. She goes to one of her teachers' houses nearby. And,
Big mistake.
No, actually,
Just
that's
kidding.
not the mistake.
Sorry. I'll stop interrupting you.
No, please interrupt me. And the teacher's nice.
Cool.
She likes
Okay.
the teacher.
Okay.
And then there's this other, I wouldn't call him a family friend.
Sure.
But the family knows this guy named Gerald Turner.
Yikes.
And he lived in the duplex with Lisa and her parents earlier in the year.
Okay.
So they knew this guy from there. And the guy moved a few blocks away.
See, it's that peripheral. You know someone, but you don't know them super well.
Exactly. Yeah. There's comfort there,
Yeah.
but
Familiarity.
exactly. And so Lisa then, for some reason, she goes down the street to Gerald's house. And I'm not sure what the motivation was.
Candy. She's trick-or-treating.
I guess maybe to say hi as well. Because I forgot to mention he lived in that duplex, but he and his girlfriend also had a kid.
Oh, okay. That she was same age.
Ish, yeah.
Okay.
And they would play together.
Sure.
And so, yeah, she had that familiarity with this guy.
Sure.
I don't know, I don't know exactly why she wanted to go hang out there.
It's
but
the 70s.
Yeah,
So they
who
all
knows?
just talk to strangers and
Right. Just like the parents, they weren't home.
yeah.
They you know what? I need to confirm this. I'm pretty sure they were elsewhere, but yeah, they definitely were like, oh yeah, you can go, go trick or treating
Dress
on
as a
your
hobo.
own. Yeah,
Do whatever
exactly.
you want. It's the 70s.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen?
And yeah, I never trick or treated on my own, but probably because of this story.
Well, yeah, I think like gradually people got more and more like aware of like crime happening all the time.
Yeah.
And now people are like, you used to play outside as a kid?
Oh my gosh.
We don't do that. We don't do that. We give them an iPad and, now
Keep
we
them
just,
docile.
yeah, keep them docile,
Exactly.
spray them down with Lysol and,
So that'll kill them, but at least it's not in the streets,
at least you're in control.
Yeah, exactly. So she goes to this Gerald Turner guy's house, and that's the last time that she's seen alive.
Okay.
And no one really makes that much of a note of it, though, that she's going into his house. And so what happened is she goes in and it just, imagine the most horrific scenario.
Yikes.
He rapes her,
Oh, no.
and
She's 7?
9
Okay, no.
9 years
Oh,
old.
well, that's okay then.
Oh, sorry. I thought she was really young.
But she was mature for her age.
Yeah, good.
I mentioned the freckles,
She
so
seemed more like 9 and a
you should
half.
have seen how she was
To
dressed.
be fair, she seemed like 9 and a half. No, but
She was 9 going on like 12.
yeah, exactly. She was 9 going on 21.
Yeah.
No, but so he
Yikes.
takes her upstairs, does that, and asphyxiates her, and then he puts her body in the bathtub.
Okay.
And his girlfriend comes home after he does this, and he was wearing a bathrobe, I believe. And he told his girl, she wants to go out and keep the night going. It's not that late at this point. It's Halloween. And so he says he's not feeling well. And somehow she doesn't go to the bathroom to find Lisa's body. And so she believes, she buys his story. Like, okay, you're not feeling well. She's excited to go out. She goes out.
Wow.
And so when she goes out, that's when he gets rid of the body. And he puts it in a plastic bag. And what we know, the timeline is kind of murky on exactly, when he did this. But let's go to the next day.
Okay.
The parents had come home. Lisa's parents had come home, and it was near 11 p.m. Obviously, wasn't like her, so they were immediately
They're like, we left our 9-year-old to just like fend for herself on Halloween night, and suddenly,
kid.
Yeah.
I was a latchkey kid. Ayo. Suddenly, it's 11 p.m. and she's not home.
Yeah, and so
This isn't like her. She's very mature. She's like 9 going on 9 3/4.
right.
So
Yeah, and so apparently she was just a kid, so they
shit.
think this is bad that
Yeah.
she's not home yet. So they start looking
Naturally.
for her. They get out, the neighborhood starts looking for her, and the next day it really ramps up, and over the next 4 days it becomes just a citywide search. Everybody's involved, and it's a big story, and gas stations would even give free gas to the searchers.
oh wow,
And
that's
just
motivation.
right. Hey, I was looking for her all
Fuck
day.
that 9-year-old kid, but
They drove
gas
up.
is $4 a gallon. So
Yeah, no
I'll
shit.
look for a kid.
They drove
sure.
up to the Potawatomi Bingo and Casino to play, a few rounds, and then say they were looking for her.
Yeah,
Get some free gas.
We're exhausted.
Yeah. But so it was, a community effort. Everyone obviously was, taken by this story. Of
course.
And so 4 days later, though, there's this family called the Braun family. And they
Why did I just assume that was bad?
no,
Who are these pricks?
good.
Okay.
Gerald Turner so far is the only bad one.
Okay, fuck that guy, Gerald Turner.
You remember what he did.
But the bronze, good for them. They're great.
Yeah, because so this is where I come into the picture, even though I didn't exist then.
Okay.
They built my parents' house where I grew up, the Braun family. And they were
Now, is
living
it
there
Braun,
at the time.
BRAWN?
UN.
Braun.
Yeah.
Is that the paper
Like
towel
Ava
company?
Braun.
Yeah, exactly. Both. Paper towel and
Is it the same
Hitler's
family?
mistress.
Brawny is the paper towel one.
Oh shit.
Well, it sounds the
Braun.
same.
You're like, yeah, same family.
Well, it sounds
Hitler's boo.
Oh, no, you were asking if it was they invented the paper towel?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
They were farmers.
Okay, that
And-
seems right.
And so he's on his tractor, and he finds the body he finds 2 garbage bags on the property by the side of the road. One has her body, and the other has her Halloween costume.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought her body was like split into 2 pieces.
Yeah, no.
One is just like, let's put the hobo costume. We don't want to get it dirty.
Sorry to disappoint you, but
We're gonna save that.
We want to say, because what a good costume. I mean, this girl is just
yeah,
creative.
you gotta.
We don't want that to get
At
dirty.
least he let that-
Save that.
Like this isn't gonna age poorly.
Yeah.
Let's save this.
Put this in a bag. And then I guess
Honestly-
we'll put her body in this one.
If they had like a horrible killer museum, that's
They
something
do.
you could put in it.
There's
Her
the
Halloween
Museum
costume.
of Death in Hollywood.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Lisa Frank
French.
is found. There's one bag with her body, one bag with her hobo costume.
Yeah. Sure. Why don't you finish the
No,
story?
no, no, no. I'm trying to get you back to sorry.
And so then, they do bring in Gerald Turner, this guy. He's 25 years old at the time. They bring him in for questioning, and nothing really comes of it. And then they bring him in again. They give him a lie detector test, and the person that administered it wasn't satisfied with the results, so they wanted to bring him in again. But then he didn't show up again, and it took 9 months
Oh God.
for him for them to get him into the position where he actually admitted he did it. So, can you imagine this search goes on immediately? It's like 4 days, and then after the 4 days, it takes 9 months to find the killer.
You said he admitted to it too,
He finally confessed.
like under cross-examination.
Yes, and that's where he explained like what I said happened, and that there was a trial and all this, and let me see how much time he got. He got it should be life in prison, but he was, let's just say, he was booked for a while. And
38 years and 6 months.
there you go. I knew it was in the 30s.
He was taken
20?
into custody August 9th, 1974.
Well, think about it. He's 25. That's
Mm-hmm.
a kid. I mean, that's a pretty young. That's like how old are you? I'm 31. I feel like when I was 25, I was just doing all kinds of dumb shit.
Right.
That's a young.
You were murdering little kids?
That's like, who hasn't murdered a kid? When you're 25, you make a lot of bad mistakes. That's crazy though.
Yeah.
That he's so young. I don't know.
He looks like an old fuck right now.
But when I picture this crime, I guess I picture like this
Look him
older
up, Kyle.
man.
Oh, I've seen.
Let me see.
I'm on his Wikipedia page right now.
Yeah, that the old man you picture is what he looks like now.
But that's not what he looked like during the crime. He was
Of course
like
not.
a
He was
kiddo.
20. Yeah, he looked like a 70s hippie.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And then there's his younger version.
God.
And then that's Lisa.
You'd probably want to hook up with him.
No, I wouldn't.
He looks like a biker.
You're not his type. Don't worry. You're older than 9 years old.
You're way too old for this guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just by 20 years.
He's like, I don't know, dress like a hobo, and then let's see how we feel.
Anyway.
Sorry.
Boy, he would have loved this city this year with all the homeless people.
No shit.
But so then he was released in 1992 with good behavior.
What?
And they speculate he got good behavior because nobody wanted to associate with him. So naturally in prison it was looked on as good behavior when it was really just this
No one wants to
dude
deal with
no one
you.
wanted to mess with. And
I thought like child killers got their asses kicked.
well, yeah, it's a strange system. And then he
And child rapists.
No
yeah,
shit. Yeah, no shit.
all of the above.
Yeah.
And he was back in prison because there was a public outcry, and it actually led to this thing called Turner's Law, which
Oh,
was
wow.
passed in Wisconsin in 1994, which basically it says if there's a prisoner that is released, but they're still deemed dangerous, to society, they put them in a mental institute.
Oh.
So that they're not free. So then he was released again in 1998, then went back in 2003. He went back to prison for 15 years because of a parole violation. They found a bunch of porn on his computer.
Child porn?
They didn't say if it was child porn, but just the fact that he had any porn, he
And
was
the fact that he got
supposed to.
arrested for porn? I don't
Right.
think porn itself is illegal. Unless
Well, no,
it's
it
child
is.
porn.
It was a parole violation.
Got
He
it.
wasn't supposed to have porn.
He couldn't look at
Because he's a
porn?
child rapist killer.
Yeah.
He's not supposed to have any porn.
Yeah.
That's
But
that's a right
it
he
seems like
loses.
if you okay.
It's hard to control, but you know
I
what?
don't
When
wanna-
they find it, they can send you back to prison then.
I don't want to advocate. I don't want a devil's advocate on his side, but
Do it.
No,
you already,
not at all.
you've said a
Not at
lot
all.
already. Yeah.
But it just seems like okay. That's
It's
it
too
seems
harsh.
Like they're
He
trying
should
to
be
find
free, right?
No.
Okay.
No. It just seems like they're trying to find reasons to put him back, which
Of course.
he should.
Good for them.
But why
I
wouldn't the
applaud
reason
them.
just be like you killed a fucking kid?
I agree. There
Not like you're
should
watching
have been
porn.
life in prison.
Yeah.
Or
Period.
Or just kill him
Just
that
kill the
day
fucking guy.
before you
Just
get to the
asphyxiate him.
judicial system.
Yeah.
Put a bullet in this guy's head.
Yeah, like let's not waste
Frontier
time.
justice.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's actually too just of a death for him.
No
like
shit.
throw him under Mr. Braun's tractor.
Yeah.
And so then now that's where he's still alive. That's about where it stands. I believe he's in the mental institute now. Kyle, did you see anything on that? He's either way. He's locked
Kaput.
up somewhere,
Okay.
and people are fighting to keep him locked up.
Good.
And so, yeah, it's just a strange case.
Well, I'm glad it didn't happen that like he got out and killed another kid. And That's where he
Exactly.
went back.
Oh,
It's mainly
right.
been like
Yeah, he
He's
could
not
have been a
good.
serial killer.
totally
He's just one killer.
one and done.
Yeah, one and done.
Yeah, he's at the Sand Ridge Secure Treatment Center in Mauston, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Mauston,
Wisconsin. Yeah.
Wisconsin.
Mauston.
I know that place.
Really?
Yeah.
His proceedings were postponed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. It was most recently reported that Turner was set to have his status tried again in court on October 29th, 2020, 2 days before the 47th anniversary of the murder of French. But he was not released.
Yeah, so he's still locked up, so that's good.
Good.
And so then this was it's a horrible story, right? And it actually led to, it's one of the reasons all the Halloween, routines changed around the country, I believe. After that, it wasn't as laissez-faire when it comes to kids going trick-or-treating by themselves. That's why this Gerald Turner guy is called the Halloween Killer.
Well, that's what they also call the guy who killed his son, the Pixie Sticks.
Oh, really?
Candyman.
What
and the
year
Halloween
was it?
Killer, 1973. So the
What
year
month?
before. October.
This is all
This is the
Halloween
same-
murders.
This is 1973.
This is 1973, and it's
Mine is too.
I
My
thought yours was 74.
1973 is bigger than your 1973.
This is in Pasadena, Texas. 1974.
Okay, so the time zone, I believe Lisa French happened first.
Okay, so there's a
So
there's,
they're the
what is
first
it? A
Halloween
2-hour difference. No, actually, I looked at it again. It's
Wait, you're talking about the
1974.
Candyman. Oh,
Yes.
so I win.
Do you know
have
the
Halloween.
Candyman?
There was I need.
poisoned
I don't know the whole story, but
He poisoned his own kid
but
for a
he's
life
the
insurance.
Candyman. He's not the Halloween killer. He's the Candyman
they call
killer.
him.
He's a Halloween killer.
No, but
he's not
Let's-
the
let's-
Halloween
You can't have
killer.
both names.
No.
What they
Pick
call
one.
him is the Candyman and the man who killed Halloween.
Oh, so
No,
that's
no, no,
different.
That's different. It's not the Halloween killer.
Jeffrey Dahmer, he was the Milwaukee Cannibal. He didn't have another name like, the Chocolate Factory douchebag.
The Body
killer
Muncher.
dude.
Body muncher.
Yeah, the Body Muncher. That's what I was looking for. So, yeah, they call this guy the Halloween Killer. Yeah, and I believe it led to, it was like lore, be careful, kids probably shouldn't be out trick-or-treating at
Don't
night
dress
by
like a
themselves.
hobo.
In fact, growing up, I trick-or-treated. I only remember trick-or-treating. It was always on a Sunday. It was never on, unless Halloween landed on a
Lord's
Sunday.
Day?
Yeah. It was never on, actual Halloween
Halloween?
unless that happened to land on a Sunday. And it
Really?
was never at night.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Well, look
'cause-
what happened in our city.
Yeah, that's true. When I was growing up, we always trick or treated on Halloween, no matter what
Good.
day of the week it was.
Good for you.
Thank you. And it was always at night.
Great.
And it was always in a group of
You
your
were
friends.
you were playing with fire.
Clearly. Not murdered
You dressed
dead.
up as a hobo. You're like, come and get me.
Now that
I'm just dancing my feminine wild. 9 years old.
what are you waiting for?
And and I wasn't that aware of the story besides just knowing, this girl Lisa French was killed
Sure.
and that she was my road had something to do with it.
Okay.
And I never knew exactly where it was on the road. And last winter, I was at my parents' place, and the neighbor came over, walked over. It's a folksy kind of area
Yeah.
in the countryside.
Sure.
And
As you guys are like chopping wood.
yeah, me and my brother are chopping trees down, literally, and we're chopping wood, and it's freezing.
Sure. of
Absolutely
course.
freezing.
As it is. Sure.
Like you can't stand. You have to be moving. But
Yeah. Oh, no. Again, I'm from the Midwest.
Yeah, so
I know
now-
we all live here now, but
you know what it's like to be cold. So
Horrid.
we're talking now. We're having a long conversation with the neighbor, though standing still, and we're just freezing. And then suddenly but it's nice. It's fine,
Sure.
except that I might die from frostbite or something.
sure.
So in the middle of the conversation, he looks over, like right at the beginning of our driveway, and he's like, isn't life something else? That I always think of that poor little girl when I see that, when I look at that spot in the road. And I'm like, you're talking about that,
Lisa Frank?
yeah, Lisa French thing. And then he's like, that's where they found the body right there. I was like, and he's quasi smiling while he's saying this.
Yeah. So when he's telling me this story, I thought this was the killer. I didn't know he was found.
I was just thinking that.
No, he's not. He's a nice guy.
Okay.
And
Love that guy.
so I'm like, oh my God, he dumped the body right in front of my house.
And did that explain a lot of strange happenings that occurred?
Not at all.
Oh, great.
No, it's a good energy at my house. It wasn't in my driveway. It was next.
Sure.
It was in the field, like by the side of the road, just right off our property.
Okay,
kind
that's
of thing.
fair.
So it
That's
wasn't
fine.
on our property.
Yeah. But it's like in every horror movie where the neighbor comes over and like makes this like offish comment, and you're like, "What does that mean?" And they're like, "Well, we better be going.
Right.
We best be off."
Yeah, what it did was it made me think like, oh, I should look up that story again. Because it was just one that was peripherally in my head, like, but I'd never really done that much research on it. And yeah, I found it, obviously it's horrific, but just fascinating that it was this crime. It really scarred the city for a long time.
Right in your backyard.
Right in my backyard.
Front yard, really.
Yeah.
Front yard, that's true. And there was a YouTube video I was watching the other day about it. There's a bunch of them. People,
People love it.
Yeah, they tell this story on YouTube all the time. And this guy, though, his gimmick is I forget the name of his channel. Not that he needs a plug; he has enough followers. Okay. So I think he goes to places himself and then shows you the locations. So then he showed her house in the city. Yeah, and then he's on. Oh, my road is called McCabe Road, by the way. McCabe, as in McCabe and Mrs. Miller. You know what I mean? And
nope,
it's a Robert Altman movie. Okay. Anyway, so it's McCabe Road, and so he's driving down my road, and then he's like he's telling the story while he's driving. That it's another one of his gimmicks, and so he starts at the end of the road, and he's like building up to where her body was found, and it's like, whoa, like there's my house. He's like filming.
You're just in the window.
Yeah, exactly. It was just weird. Like he's like filming my house. He's like, this is where the body was found. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alejandro's just naked walking past the window.
Yeah, I paused it. I wanted to see if I could see like my parents.
Yeah.
Doing the dishes in the window.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't realize they're part of this creepy YouTube video. That was interesting to me too, that some dude's filming like a YouTube video, on
outside of your home.
my parents.
That's crazy.
He walks out in overalls and a Halloween mask, like, hi.
Yeah, it's like, hey, this is my territory. I'll do the YouTube video.
Yeah,
on this.
exactly.
Get away.
Fuck right
Get off my lawn.
But, yeah.
100%.
People beat me to it though. But you know what? It was in my front yard, so
you got that
I have
going
that
for you.
leg up.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's the story.
Have
Of a
there
lovely
been
lady.
Little
she
Miss
was
Lisa Friend.
not a lady yet, but
No.
Not
a
quite
little
yet.
girl.
She's a young lady.
Never,
Not yet a woman.
we'll never know what
Free Britney.
her life could have been.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's crazy. Thank you for sharing. That's bananas.
You're welcome.
Have you ever had a dead body dropped off in front of your home?
You said
Not that
there
I
was
know of.
something.
Oh, when I was 5 years old, there was a triple murder in front of my house.
What?
Yeah, he's like, oh, no, I never had it.
It wasn't on Halloween.
Triple murder.
Oh, well, it wasn't on Halloween, so it doesn't really count. What?
And there was a triple murder. Now that I think of it, this is kind of follows me triple. There was a triple murder suicide directly across the street from me, and I knew the guy. He was my neighbor. He was outside like drinking all the time, and I'd always be like, "Hey, what's going on, man?" Be like, "Hey, what's up?" And then one day I went out. This is when I first lived in New York City in 2008, and me and my buddy he was visiting from Boston, and we were about to go buy beer on a Saturday morning because that's how we rolled.
Sure.
And we were walking to the corner store, so we opened my door, and then all of a sudden there's like SWAT teams, there's police out front, and they go, "Get back in your house, lock the door." We were like, "Wait, what the fuck?" Ran in, locked the door.
Like, we are far too sober for this.
Yeah. And so we start calling. He worked for NBC News in Boston at the time. He goes, "Dude, let's start filming this because we can sell this to like news stations."
Yeah.
And so we're filming, and
While he's murdering the people?
it's already done at that point.
Right.
And so we're calling the news being like, "Hey, there's something crazy going on. We're filming it. Do you want the footage?" And they're like, "What's the address?" And we give them the address, and they go, "It's a guy." And he's just like, "Oh, yeah." He's like, "That's the triple murder suicide." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And he goes, "Yeah, that kind of stuff happens there all the time. We're not interested." And I go, "Excuse me?" And he goes, "Dude, all the time."
Really?
Just completely dropped all his professionalism, was just like all the time.
That's like
Literally
the
said,
word.
"Dude." And
Jeez.
And then they started bringing the bodies out right after that
Holy
on the stretchers.
shit.
Yeah.
Wonder what they would have thought of Lisa French.
It was
They
so
would have
That
been
shit
like,
happens
yeah.
all the time.
He did it on a Saturday. Like, if you're gonna kill some, like, if you pull a gun on me on a Monday, I'd be like, dude, let me pull the trigger. I'm ready to fucking
It's
kill. I don't want to
Monday.
work today.
Yeah.
But on a Saturday, you're supposed to be enjoying
on.
yourself. That's the real monster, right
Or
there.
Totally
Halloween.
monster.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit.
Right?
Yep.
Fucking people.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy that the response was like, we get this all the time. We're not even interested, which means that's how often it happens that all the horrible shit you see on the news, think about what you're not seeing because they're like, this is just boring.
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, I would have negotiated my rent if I knew this. There's triple murder suicides happening all the time in my neighborhood. Like, what the fuck
Yeah.
am I paying so much for?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or what captivates and the people, for instance, like Gabby Petito,
Right.
that
Totally.
has hit a nerve, and
Totally.
everybody's interested.
Newest
Yeah.
episode of Death and Entertainment.
Right? I wasn't trying to plug it, but
true. Like, I mean, it's like this happens all the time too. This girl goes on a road trip with her shitty boyfriend. They have a shitty abusive relationship, and she ends up dead.
yeah,
That
you
happens
hear
all the
about it
time.
all the time.
Yeah,
Or even accidental deaths all the time with traveling.
sure.
Right? They always say they're accident. Like she fell in the geyser.
What are you gonna do?
Got launched 50 feet in the air.
It was beautiful.
It was fucking crazy.
She strangled herself.
Yeah, it was crazy. You sent me that clip of that guy who's like a pedophile, but he's
Oh, the
not.
virtuous pedophiles. I showed him that.
Oh yeah.
I
Virtuous.
hate him.
Non-offending
I hate
virtuous
him.
pedophiles.
I like
yeah.
how they label themselves virtuous.
No shit. Yeah.
What she's talking about is this video clip that they did like this in-depth interview with this guy who is the creator of the Virtuous Pedophiles organization, which is non-offending pedophiles that want to have sex with kids but don't.
Virtuously.
And yes, so they want to be labeled as virtuous pedophiles.
I don't get why they bring it up at all then.
No
If they're
shit.
not
Yeah, why would
planning
you
to
That's
throw
what
do
I
it.
said.
anybody?
That's what I said. He made this comment where he's like, I have never sexually, what did I want to say? Offended.
Assaulted.
He certainly has sexually offended. He's not sexually assaulted.
he's
children.
nothing but sexually offensive.
He's totally offensive.
Yeah, he just looks sweaty and like out of shape, and he's got a hook hand. And
he says
Yes.
that he's allowed to play with his nieces.
No.
Yes.
But then,
he has-
but then
Yes.
and he says this, and he almost cracks a smile because he thinks it's bullshit. But he says, in some ways, it's safer with me because everything's out in the open.
yeah, he really does.
Nope.
Because he has all this art on his refrigerator that's clearly done by kids.
No
and the
way.
cameraman's like, what's up with this, bro? And he's like, oh, yeah, no, this is from my niece and her friends. And they're like, your family allows you near kids? And he goes, yeah, it's better with me than, with a real pedophile.
And he was trying to shop.
My God.
He was shopping his show around to Nickelodeon and PBS, the virtuous pedophile storyteller.
I told
Variety
Kyle,
hour.
I started that clip.
Hi, Dave. Hi, kids.
I think I watched like 10 seconds of that clip, and he said something that just pissed me off, and I was like, I can't watch this.
Oh, the whole thing is that.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
hard to
even
watch, but-
ironically watch this. Like, it just was so upsetting.
I got through it somehow. But no. Oh, yeah, please. It was because it's so funny. It's so interesting
It's like I wanted to ironically hear what he had to say. Like, it's better people telling me.
But is it ironic? Like, aren't you curious? What is this guy like? Were you watching it ironically, or were you watching it?
I
like,
watched it
I want to see
being
what
like-
this guy has to say.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's more so that like I just couldn't. I literally couldn't stomach it.
It's not
Like,
your thing.
is it your thing?
Virtuous pedophiles ain't my bag.
It's just like the whole like getting myself off the hook and just being
Right.
like
Off the hook hand.
getting himself off the hook. That's all he does.
Jesus.
Am I off the hook?
Is he?
Yeah, like
The fact that he's a
he's
hook hand
already. Yeah,
Come on.
exactly. Like
Come on, he's got the
already
hook.
creepy
He's
AF,
scary.
and then give him a hook on top of it.
It's like you couldn't even. There's got to be other options than a hook.
We're very
can put
technologically
like a rubber
advanced.
hand.
A wax hand.
Yeah, rubber fist.
A dildo. They should put a dildo on his hand.
No,
He's like, I am a virtuous, non-offending pedophile.
It's just-
and then the dildo's flopping around.
He's like, it's got 3 speeds.
It's pulsating. Just oops,
It's
excuse me.
better with me.
Yeah, he's in jury duty.
Jesus.
That
should be the punishment for pedophiles. They take your hand off and they put a dildo on it. So whenever you see someone with dildo hands, you know that they're a pedophile.
Are you a sex offender? No.
Isn't there a porn about Edward Scissorhands, but it's Edward dildo hands?
Oh, I'm
Something
sure.
like that?
There has
I'm
to
pretty
be.
sure I've seen this. Probably ironically.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's ironic. Yeah, right.
Oh God. Well, did you have anything else?
I think that's it for me.
Should we leave it at Edward Dick Hands?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. We kind of we're covering a wide range of disturbing.
We just want to reach a wide
Topics.
range of audiences.
Yeah.
Like someone listening to this episode was just like waiting for like the child non-molester with the hook
Non-molester.
hand.
Really want to, but not gonna do
He
it.
was like, "This is my shit." We covered everyone. Well, good for us. Cheers. Thank you
Cheers.
so much for being on the horrible Halloween special of Laughing in the Dark. I promise season 4 is coming out, but she's going to take her sweet time. So re-listen to the old episodes and listen to Death and Entertainment in the meantime.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Laughing in the Dark. I'll see you soon. Happy Halloween.
A very special thanks to Kyle Ploof and Alejandro Dowling of the Death and Entertainment Podcast. This episode was produced and edited by Randall Lawrence in Craneville Studios. And another special thanks to Jonathan Cooper for our graphic designs. We will see you soon for Season 4. Sources used for the horrible Halloween special of Laughing in the Dark. Time, Up North Live ABC, The Guardian, The Los Angeles Times, ABC News, NBC Philadelphia, Wikipedia, Snapped from Oxygen on YouTube, and Heavy.com.
Laughing in the Dark is brought to you in part by Heck Yeah Studio. Heck Yeah Studio is a creative effort working with people to create meaningful things. At Heck Yeah Studio, they work with clients to turn their ideas or existing brands into real or better versions. Heck Yeah Studio is the place to go for custom illustration for a full range of branding services, like killer logos, great colors and typography, and fun illustrations for pins, signs, prints, shirts, vehicles, posters, or anything you can imagine. At Heck Yeah Studio, they work with love. Their dream client is someone who is passionate about what they do. At Laughing in the Dark, Heck Yeah Studio has designed our logo, all of our merch, and any posters or stickers that we have. I am so proud and lucky to work with such an awesome company, and I could not recommend them higher.